You know what else isn't in here? Much discussion of the dossier. In fact, the report suggests the counterintelligence investigation into Trump World was initiated because of this report that George Papadopoulos, had suggested the Russians had emails that they were going to release on Hillary Clinton or something like that. That wasn't true. That isn't why they opened a counterintelligence investigation, although I'm sure there's a paper record suggesting that's the case. They were spying on Trump well before then, and Mueller should know that. And what about the dossier? Virtually no mention of the dossier. Another reason for President Trump to be outraged. And to the degree it's mentioned, you know what they say? Even Mueller says this, unverified. You know, folks, we were right. President Trump was right. There was no collusion. The Mueller witch hunt was just that, a witch hunt. More specifically, an abuse of power and targeted harassment of the president, part of a seamless web of activity that began during the campaign to target and try to destroy then-candidate Trump with the help of Hillary Clinton and the DNC through their operatives at Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele, the hired gun spy, illicitly working with the FBI, beginning again in 2016 at least, probably before then, well into 2017. And then once even President Trump's elected, the spying continued through these illicit FISA warrants. Rod Rosenstein, after Sessions recused himself wrongly, it confirms Sessions recused himself wrongly. How does it confirm it? Because the report admits that Sessions' communications with the Russians were incidental, non-substantial. Certainly nothing requiring recusal. And Rosenstein's talking about overthrowing the President of the United States by incorrectly invoking the 25th Amendment, wearing a wire on the President in the Oval Office. And in that same discussion, well, we'll get a special counsel after him. No discussion of the fact that Mueller interviewed for the job, and that being a concern of the President, a substantial concern of the President. In fact, they just quote other people who think that the concern wasn't well-founded. Well, that's their opinion. This is nothing but a big op-ed piece designed to smear President Trump and provide grist for the Democratic mill, again, that seamless web to target and destroy the president, to try to justify a fraudulent impeachment investigation. As I said, we were right. There should never have been a Mueller report because it was proof positive this is abusive. And now the Democrats want to fight, pretend to fight. They want to ask for a full subpoena of all the records. They don't want all the records. They just want some of the records. They don't want this FISA material declassified. They don't want all of Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. I'm thinking of Led Zeppelin every time I say Peter Page. Isn't he Led Zeppelin? Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. They don't want all their text messages. We're waiting on Andrew Weissman's text messages, the number 2 at the Mueller operation, who was an anti-Trumper, as Judicial Watch proved. So what next? Well, you know, President Trump, in the end, has been vindicated. But as I say, this was an attempt to smear him on the way out by the Mueller anti-Trump team. And I'm glad Attorney General Barr saw through it, but I would have gone a step further than Barr did. I would have come in and said, you know what? I know what you're planning to do. Stop writing your garbage report. All you need to tell me is some basic facts. It doesn't need to be more than 2 or 3 pages. And this is fake stuff. The volume is designed, the size of it is designed to make you think there's something important in here. I read this report. You don't need to read it. Go back and read Devin Nunes's report from a year or so ago. Maybe even longer than that. I forget, it was 2018 or 17 at this point. That's all you need to know. And it's more truthful than this report, which is which is dishonest in the sense it leaves out core information. As I said, President Trump's been vindicated. The Mueller investigation failed to find any evidence to support the big lie that the Trump campaign colluded with the Russians, and it failed miserably to prove any obstruction. It's all just gossip suggesting the president was doing something wrong. It was an attack on the president for exercising his powers as president. The Justice Department, and at least the Mueller operation, suggests that every hiring and firing decision by the president can be subject to Justice Department review. They've placed themselves above the President of the United States. I've told you before, it's King Mueller at the Justice Department. And again, we're so pleased the Attorney General saw through this, saw through the 448-page smear document, and he just highlighted a simple conclusion: no collusion, and obviously no obstruction. Now, neither Mueller, look, and let's go back a step further. 200 pages of non-collusion, and it shows you they never had a good faith basis. The dossier wasn't a good faith basis. It's still 2 years later, 3 years later, unverified, and it was the fundamental basis for the FISA warrants. Carter Page, he didn't do anything wrong. You would have thought he was a Russian agent. George Papadopoulos, not a Russian agent. They knew that immediately. And when they suggested Carter Page was an agent, they were lying to the court because they all knew he was not an agent. Who needs to be investigated here? We can list it. Obama, Biden, Susan Rice, Hillary Clinton, the DNC, their lawyers, John Brennan, James Comey, Clapper, John Kerry, a whole host of other lower level officials, Andrew McCabe, Loretta Lynch, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. I tell you what, if I were the president, I'd walk over to the Washington field office of the FBI, and file a crime report against the FBI and Justice Department and others over what they did to him here. Carter Page is in the same boat. People like that are in the same boat. And there are a lot of people who are named in this as witnesses who have spent a fortune in legal fees as part of this outrageous attack on our republic. Remember, this is part of an effort to overthrow the president, folks. This is part of the coup effort. They suggested they couldn't exonerate President Trump. Outrageous. And yet Hillary Clinton, we've got, as we pointed out last week, we found documents out of the FBI investigative file of Hillary Clinton that literally says Clinton cover-up. An admission from the people who were working on her system. Yet we didn't get any language like that attacking Hillary Clinton out of the FBI and Justice Department. There was never a good faith basis to target President Trump. There was never a good faith basis to target President Trump. And it wasn't just a hoax. As I say, it was a criminal conspiracy against President Trump and many people around him. And this is why we continue to fight for all these Russiagate and deep state documents in court. We have over 40 lawsuits designed to get access to this information. I'll talk about some new ones we just filed in a few minutes. And as I say with Hillary Clinton, the targeting of Trump was concurrent with the effort to protect her. And you can't have one without the other. They're two sides of the same coin. And of course, they were protecting the Obama administration, who were also involved in that cover-up as well, because the email scandal went beyond Hillary personally to other members of the Trump administration or the Obama administration. So we finally need a serious criminal investigation here by the Attorney General, and we can be hopeful that he does the right thing. Certainly he exudes confidence and competence in at least the public forums I've seen thus far. I don't agree with everything he said, but you know, as I keep on saying, I never agree with anything anyone says. I joke sometimes I don't agree with everything I say. But the point being, Barr at least gives us a little bit of more of a glimmer of hope that something effective might be done. But I tell you, don't worry. We don't shut down just because there might be a seemingly good appointee somewhere in an agency. Judicial Watch has lawsuit after lawsuit to investigate the illegal leaks, the illegal unmaskings, the illegal targeting, the spying, the FISA abuses. We've got the whole gamut covered. So when people say, let's investigate the investigators, folks, we've been doing that since day one. Not Congress, not the media, which is complicit in this, but Judicial Watch. It was Judicial Watch that forced out, for the first time in history, FISA warrant applications that obviously were fraudulent, that disclosed that the FBI under Obama was paying the Clinton DNC spy Christopher Steele at the same time Clinton and the DNC were paying them through Fusion GPS, a joint operation against then candidate Trump between the FBI, the DOJ, and the Clinton camp. The president tweeted that out just this week, that piece of information. It's been out there for a bit, but it's been in the news again recently because of a new Judicial Watch lawsuit. His reaction, wow, isn't that important? Judicial Watch uncovered the 60 some odd communications between the Obama/Trump DOJ, because it was done secretly, to be fair to the senior appointees. Or I don't know if it was done secret. I shouldn't be fair to the senior appointees because I don't know what they knew and when. Between Bruce Orr, whose wife worked at Fusion GPS, and Christopher Steele, again fired by the FBI, but the DOJ was a backdoor way through Bruce Orr to get Steele dirt on Trump into the FBI. Unbelievable. And we have hundreds of pages of collusion, no discussion of Hillary Clinton colluding with Russian intelligence to get dirt into that dossier, into the DOJ and FBI. How can you investigate Russia collusion without looking at that? Well, you can if you're Robert Mueller, because he was uncontrolled as special counsel.